Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Multiple top WWE superstars are rumored to be potential opponents for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. WWE analyst Sam Roberts recently suggested an unexpected competitor could face the OTC at the Show of Shows. Speaking on his Not Sam Wrestling podcast, the 41-year-old addressed Drew McIntyre's involvement in the Bloodline storyline. The Scottish Warrior has recently targeted the OG Bloodline members. He also confronted Solo Sikoa on SmackDown, asking him to finish Reigns before they settle their differences. While Roberts acknowledged the possibility that the OTC could fight The Rock, CM Punk, Jacob Fatu, or Sikoa at WrestleMania, he claimed the former undisputed WWE Champion's opponent could be McIntyre. The Raw Talk host claimed McIntyre's feud with the OG Bloodline could get hot to the point that the company books him against Reigns at the Show of Shows next year. Or at this point, does the Drew thing get so hot that Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns is the Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania? All of those things that I just stated could happen, he said. From 27:50 to 28:05. Will Drew McIntyre interfere in Roman Reigns' tribal combat with Solo Sikoa on WWE Raw? On the same episode of his Not Sam Wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts claimed there is a huge possibility that The Rock returns on Raw's debut on Netflix to interfere in the tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The 41-year-old also stated that there is a similar possibility, or even higher, that Drew McIntyre would get involved in the match. I do think that it's interesting that in the beginning, it felt like The Rock had a possibility of interfering in this tribal combat match. And I think that he still does, but now, Drew McIntyre, I think he's just as likely, if not more likely to, either as well as or instead of The Rock, interfere in this match that's going to happen on the Netflix Raw, he said. It would be interesting to see if the Scottish Warrior will play a decisive role in the tribal combat. The road to WrestleMania 41 was filled with intrigue, betrayals, and moments that left fans in awe. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, had dominated WWE for nearly 4 years, conquering every opponent who dared challenge his supremacy. But as WrestleMania season heated up, whispers of an unexpected major star stepping up to face Reigns began to circulate. By the time the event arrived, fans were on the edge of their seats, eager to witness what would become one of the most shocking and unforgettable matches in WWE history. The setup: Roman Reigns' continued dominance. Roman Reigns entered 2025 as the reigning undisputed WWE Universal Champion, a title he had held for over 1,800 days. After dismantling Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 in an emotionally charged rematch, many wondered who could realistically challenge him next. Solo Sikoa, his loyal enforcer, remained by his side, while Paul Heyman orchestrated the Bloodline's every move with precision. Meanwhile, the WWE Universe buzzed with speculation. Would The Rock finally return to finish the family feud? Would Seth Rollins revisit his storied rivalry with Reigns? Or would a younger star like Braun Breaker or LA Knight finally rise to the occasion? Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a wild card emerged: Randy Orton. The return of the legend. Randy Orton had been sidelined for nearly 2 years due to a career-threatening back injury. Many believed the Viper's in-ring career was over, but Orton had quietly been rehabbing and planning his return. When he made a surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble 2025, the crowd erupted. Entering at number 30, Orton eliminated several top stars, including Rollins and Breaker, to secure his third Royal Rumble victory. With Orton's return came a clear message. The Apex Predator was back and ready to reclaim his spot at the top of WWE. Roman Reigns dismisses Randy Orton. In the weeks following the Royal Rumble, Randy Orton made it clear that he wanted Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But Reigns, true to his arrogant persona, dismissed Orton as a relic of the past. Randy Orton is not the man he used to be, Reigns declared during a SmackDown promo. This is my WWE now. Randy can slither back to the shadows where he belongs. Paul Heyman added fuel to the fire, calling Orton a desperate legend, looking for one last hurrah. But Orton was undeterred. You can talk all you want, Roman, Orton responded. But at WrestleMania, I'm going to remind you and everyone else Why I'm the Legend Killer. The Bloodline Fractures. As the weeks went on, tension within the bloodline began to simmer. Solo Sikoa, who had been loyal to Reigns, started showing signs of discontent. Reigns' controlling nature and constant belittling of his enforcer began to wear on Sikoa, and subtle moments hinted at a potential split. Orton, ever the opportunist, exploited this tension. During a contract signing for the WrestleMania main event, Orton taunted Reigns about his inability to keep his family together. "You're nothing without the bloodline, Roman," Orton sneered. "And it looks like even they're starting to see through your lies." Reigns lashed out, but the seeds of doubt had been planted. WrestleMania 41, the match. The stage was set for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Allegiant Stadium was packed with over 70,000 fans, all eagerly anticipating the night's main event. Roman Reigns, flanked by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa, made his way to the ring with his usual aura of dominance. Randy Orton, meanwhile, received a thunderous ovation as he entered to his iconic Voices theme song. The match began with Reigns using his power to overwhelm Orton, but the Viper, a master of in-ring psychology, quickly turned the tide with his cunning and precision. Every move was calculated, every counter devastating. As the match progressed, Reigns' frustration became apparent. He couldn't put Orton away, and the cracks in his composure began to show. Paul Heyman shouted instructions from ringside, while Solo Sikoa watched with an unreadable expression. The turning point. The turning point came when the referee was inadvertently knocked out during a heated exchange. Seizing the opportunity, Reigns called for a steel chair. Heyman handed it to him, but as Reigns prepared to strike, Solo Sikoa grabbed the chair from his hands. The crowd erupted as Sikoa stood face-to-face with Reigns, the tension palpable. After what felt like an eternity, Sikoa dropped the chair and walked out of the ring, leaving Reigns stunned and vulnerable. Orton capitalized, hitting a thunderous RKO that sent the crowd into a frenzy. A second referee ran down to the ring to make the count, but Reigns kicked out at the last moment, proving once again why he was the tribal chief. The final moments. The match reached its climax, with both men pulling out all the stops. Reigns attempted a spear, but Orton countered with a mid-air RKO that seemed to defy physics. The crowd counted along as the referee's hand hit the mat. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton had done the unthinkable. He had defeated Roman Reigns on the grandest stage of them all, ending the Tribal Chief's historic title reign. The aftermath. As Orton celebrated in the ring, Reigns sat on the mat, a look of disbelief on his face. Paul Heyman stood frozen at ringside, unable to process what had just happened. Solo Sikoa, who had returned to the stage, watched silently, his actions speaking louder than words. The WWE Universe was left with countless questions. What would become of the bloodline? Was this the end of Roman Reigns' dominance? And what did the future hold for Randy Orton as the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion? Legacy redefined. WrestleMania 41 marked a turning point in WWE history. Randy Orton's victory cemented his legacy as one of the greatest of all time, while Roman Reigns faced an uncertain future. The match itself was hailed as an instant classic, a testament to the storytelling and athleticism that make WWE the global phenomenon it is today. For the WWE Universe, the clash between Reigns and Orton was more than just a match. It was a moment that reminded everyone why WrestleMania is known as the showcase of the immortals. And as the fireworks lit up the Las Vegas sky, fans knew they had witnessed history.